how Esau is not for our time. Just like it says in hold on, just like it says in that
What's going on?
5:1. How the right. Come on, please.
Shalom, brother.
Yeah, we just having a conversation out before camp.
Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him.
And Slakia, but that man that has afflicted them was the Esau, the Edomites, the other nations, and the Most High, set them up to be, least, right?
Yeah.
So if you go back to that 2:12, it all just ties in together.
Okay.
Same verse. Same
Two,
chapter. I mean?
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 2:12. It ties in with 5:1 because they're not for us, so they're gonna sit there and wait for us to come out. But
If you go back to chapter 2:12, it says, because he is not for our turn,
Ooh.
and he is clean, contrary to our doings.
Contrary.
Oh, you in Wisdom Solomon the second chapter?
Yeah, Wisdom Solomon 2.
Yeah.
We were going back and forth, but
Yeah.
Salaki, I don't mean, but
No.
it was just Wisdom of Solomon, and that whole chapter is nothing but beautiful meat.
That mug
man.
is heat.
Bro.
That first chapter is heat. I did a sit down on that first chapter today. It's heat.
And me and Kawhi,
No, go ahead.
me and Kawhi did a sit down on the first 1 to 11.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you did 1 through 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because-
Talking about murmuring.
no, we didn't talk about murmuring. We just went into how
Which
it
chapter?
says, 2.
Chapter 2, slide.
Yeah.
I thought you was going to talk about
you
chapter
can
1.
go to 2, and I think it's started at 7.
You gonna hop up?
I'm sorry if I can say this. Hey, if you start at the first chapter and like I know it ends at like 16, but if you start at like 13, it's transitioning to that second chapter. Yup.
Oh, okay. Shoot, I can start at 1 and 13 then. See what that says. It says, for the Most High made not death, neither hath he pleasure in the destruction of the living. That reminds me of Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter, where it talks about how the Lord doesn't have pleasure in killing a man. He doesn't have any pleasure with the death of a man, but it's because of their wickedness that he literally they have to be corrected.
Was that it?
I think that's Ezekiel 33. Let me double check.
Yeah.
I don't know what verse.
I'll pull it real quick.
Hey, boy, he pulling it. Hey, read that because really what you said is gonna go. It's gonna go into that, brother.
Okay. Verse 14. It says, for he created all things that they might have their being, and the generations of the world were healthful, and there was no poison of destruction in them. God. Nor the kingdom of death upon the earth.
God. But isn't that talking about the Israelites?
Well, that's
Keep
talking
read-
about
keep-
creation in general.
Keep reading,
God.
because it's gonna bring it out. It's gonna bring it out.
I mean,
No, you're fine.
Verse 15, for righteousness is immortal. Verse 16, but ungodly men with their works and words called it to them, and for when they thought to have their friend, for when they thought to have it their friend, they consumed to naught and made a covenant with it, because they are worthy to take part with it.
That's right. So they became friends with what? With death, man.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. God.
And they came. And it says they came to nothing. And saying, and then make a trade to confirm who's he talking about. It gotta be talking about the wicked. Go to the second chapter.
God. This is Wisdom chapter 2, verse 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright.
See what I'm saying? It just flows right up in there.
See, that's what I've noticed with the letters, like in the New Testament,
Mm-hmm.
like First Peter. The end of First Peter, the first chapter goes right into First Peter chapter 2.
Yep.
Like you could just read it.
Remember back, I forget, somebody told me this, and I had to do more research on it, so Shalaki. But when you reading this, they didn't have chapters.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just one
letter.
whole scroll.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah,
Hey, all of them.
in the whole script.
Yeah.
Now, that a scripture that you wanted me to pull was Ezekiel 33:11.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, that's it.
Son, it says, "Say unto them, as I live, saith Yahweh, power, I have not pleasure, Salaki, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked, Salaki, that the wicked turn from his ways and live. Turn ye from your evil ways. For why will ye die, O house of Israel?"
Right, and that's exactly going into what we just read in Wisdom of Solomon.
Ezekiel.
You know what I'm saying?
Ezekiel 33:11.
Yeah.
And that links right to Ecclesiastes chapter 41.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
It's
Because,
beautiful, bro.
I mean, it's not like it's talking about the death of every man, because the Lord is going to recompense man for his wickedness. This is talking about the nation of Israel. He doesn't truly just get off on killing Israelites, because we're his chosen people. We know he knows that it's necessary, you know what I'm saying, for them to actually receive life, but it's not something that, you know, he made us to be destroyed. Now Esau, he was made to be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? He was made to be the devil and put us through certain situations, you know, to tempt us for going off. All right, but the Israelites, man, the Lord doesn't have any pleasure in killing the wicked. He would rather us repent.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He'd rather
That's
us repent.
That's right.
Because and whenever you Esau's a damn devil, it's not.
Nah, you alright.
But like whenever you repent, you know, death isn't really, you know, a bother anymore. All right, because death is, everybody has to die. All right, just like Yazak said a couple months ago. You know, he said everybody has to die. So why is everybody scared to die if everybody has to go through it? You know,
Because they don't know what's after life.
they don't know what's happening afterward. But through the
Belief.
scriptures, we know.
Yeah.
All right, and that's why I said Ecclesiastes chapter 41:1. It says, "O death, how bitter is the remembrance of thee to a man that liveth at rest, you know, in his possessions unto Salakia, unto the man that hath nothing to vex him." It says, and that hath. One percent.
You want me to read it? I
Yeah,
can read it.
Salakia.
Okay, Sirach 41:1. O death, how bitter is the remembrance of thee to a man that liveth at rest in his possessions.